Hello, Angie. I would like to speak with you about the Stockholm Octavo by Karen Engelmann. And this book takes place during the time of the French Revolution, but it takes place in Stockholm, Sweden. And it has a ton of things in it, like political intrigue, romance, fans, and also tarot cards. So it's kind of all over the place, but it really all fits together in this intricate web of really good writing. So, like I said, the French Revolution is going on, and Europe is sort of rocked by the fact that all these peasants have risen up against the monarchy and just torn them down, and it's caused a lot of unrest, elsewhere in Europe. And so you have the Swedish king who is trying to prevent this from happening by giving the average person more rights and more privileges, and trying to make his people happy so that they don't decide that overthrowing the monarchy is a good idea. But you have at the same time the aristocracy getting really, really upset that the king is doing this because they see it as shortening the gap between their lives and their rights and their privileges and the peasantry, and they really don't like that. So ironically, he's making it so that the peasants don't want to overthrow him, but now the aristocracy is kind of working against him and wants him to go away. So during this whole thing, you have the main character, Emil Larsen, and he is a secretaire. I think maybe that's how you pronounce that. And he works in customs. And he's kind of a social climber. He just kind of lucked into this really, really good position, and he'd really like to keep it. He's not really interested in anything else except, furthering his position. And then his supervisor comes to him and tells him that he needs to be married. And he really doesn't want to be married. So he goes to his friend and confidant, Mrs. Sparrow, who runs a gambling, drinking establishment, and to speak with her about what's going on. And she offers to do a card spread for him to tell his future. And so she offers to do this special spread called an octavo. And what it is each card corresponds to a different person. And so there's a prophecy, there's something that's going to happen to you, and these 8 people that are represented by these cards are going to help bring this about. And if you can find out who these 8 people are in your life, then you have more control over your future. And the prophecy that she has for him is this golden path of love and connection. And it's really interesting because he is constantly getting it wrong. Like, he doesn't have, he thinks that the girl that he likes is the right girl, and I mean she's not. Don't worry, that's not really a spoiler. And he thinks all the people that he thinks the cards correspond to are just wrong, and Emil is just wrong all the time, and he's really shallow and kind of silly sometimes. And you're just like, Emil, really? As he gets deeper and deeper into this prophecy and finding these people and actually starts getting some things right, it becomes really clear that his cards and his prophecy of love and connection don't really just correspond to him. His prophecy is tangled up with the fate of the country and the fate of the king and the fate of all these other people, and it just gets really, really interesting. I think that this is an excellent book. I would definitely recommend it. Oh, I didn't tell you about the Uzan. The Uzan is this really cool character who is obsessed with fans. She's this aristocratic lady who wants to overthrow the king, and she's really manipulative and scary, and she is obsessed with fans. She has hundreds of fancy fans that do these crazy things, and you learn so much about fan language. There's a whole language around fans. Like, every flick of the fan is like, has some deep underlying meaning. And she uses these fans and to manipulate and control everyone around her. There's this underlying prophecy magic thing going on, and I really, really love when books blend, just stories in general really blend reality with fantasy like that. So yeah, Stockholm Octavo, Karen Engelmann. You should read it. I think you would enjoy it. And that is all for me.